Welcome back to the LEC Labs, where we're here for Game 2 between G2 and XL. Game 1 pretty definitively going in G2's favour with the most kills we've had in any game across the course of LEC Summer.
Good start. Let's top it the next game and the game after.
Yeah, just keep going. Just more blood. That's what we like.
Maybe 5 of them as well. Just 5 record-breaking, just non-stop kill games.
Yeah.
But XL chose red side, interesting enough.
Yeah,
they haven't actually swapped it up. They've stuck their side. They think that maybe they've got an angle in draft, so I'll have to keep an eye out for what they change. But I think the Jayce Maokai is good, but I really want to see that Jayce go towards mid if they run that deck.
That's the thing, really. Abbedagge has played the Jayce once across groups. Did win on it as well, so it's not something they're uncomfortable on, or at least not something that's new to them. We'll see if they do it this game, though. There's the Rumble Rakan ban once again from G2. Ivan removed from XL. There's the Draven. Wonder if we'll see Kai'Sa and Rell being let through in Game 2.
Last ban coming in from XL if they want to change it up. LeBlanc still open.
I think if it's LeBlanc, G2... Oh, it's Alistar instead. Okay, wow. So LeBlanc, Rell, and Kai'Sa all up.
Yeah.
Is Rell your prio?
Looks
Rell
like
would be my prio.
I mean, they can go Jayce Maokai here again, but then they're going to get Kai'Sa LeBlanc, which doesn't feel good if Caps wants to go for that LeBlanc. They've gone Maokai Kai'Sa, so they denied that pick. We'll see what AD carry Hans decides to go for, if he wants to swap it up.
I mean, he's got to swap it up. He could go towards the Sire.
But yeah, I feel like LeBlanc could be a good pickup. Just G2 want to deny the Jayce. Does Caps want to take that away? They've gone for Braum. Rakan is banned, which is normally like the pick into Braum. They've gone for the Kog'Maw Braum, of course. It's the G2 special, isn't it? They've been playing. That's the 3rd time they played it now. And yeah, I think when they play around Hans, it just feels like they dominate the entire map. I feel like picking support up here would be great for XL, but Jayce is up if they want to play that Jayce mid. Jayce, Kai'Sa, Maokai. That's insane.
Very strong poke. Yeah.
Especially against the Kog'Maw. So I feel like if they're happy dropping support here, I don't think XL will be too upset if they can pick up the Jayce.
Don't do it. It's not Arena. Jayce locked in.
Kai'Sa, Tarek Arena. Just lock in Master Yi on 4. And they're all happy. So now going into the 4-5. Can look to deny mid laners or top laners for G2 and keep the Jayce flex alive. Pick support on 4. We'll see what supports are banned away from G2, if any. But obviously that Rell will go towards jungle. Yeah,
with the Rakan being already banned away, I don't really know if you have more supports you must ban with the Braum. Obviously, Nautilus available, but Braum is good into the Nautilus. I think Braum as well works well into the poke that XL have already got. So G2, though, when they played the Kog'Maw Braum, did tend to fall behind in the early game. I remember, I think it was about 2,000 gold average deficit for them at the 14-minute mark. So we'll see if that happens once again here, or if they've refined things a little bit. Mid going to be pinched with the Nico and the Azir bans.
Interesting they banned the Azir, so they must be saying, we think this Jayce is going top, when I think they should definitely put it towards mid, especially with Nico LeBlanc bans. That Jayce is pretty much covered off. Azir is down. I wonder if G2 are kind of shooting themselves in the foot a bit here, if Abbedagge is happy to pick up that Jayce, but the Tristana is still open, if that's something that Caps wants to run. Double AD carry with Braum and a Rell would be great. Then they can round it off with an AP top or a tank, you know, Ornn or Kennen with an AD carry. I think an Ornn would be great for them, wouldn't it? I think Ornn Tristana 4-5 would be a G2 classic, wouldn't it? So
I think with the Nautilus being banned away as well, you are looking more towards the Tristana, because Nautilus obviously can mess with his Tristana quite a lot. XL going to pick support here, leave top for last.
Is it Melio? Yeah, I was thinking, is it Melio into Braum? You don't really want to pick a melee support. You could go Kai'Sa, Alistar, but against Kog'Maw, oof, that lane might be a bit difficult with a Braum especially by their side, but yeah, they're happy going for it. So now the question is, do they go for that Tristana Ornn? I mean, BB hasn't played any Ornn this split, but do they care too much about going full kind of quote-unquote AD, Rell's magic, Braum's magic, Kog'Maw's magic? Maybe they're happy going Sion or Poppy anyway.
How would you feel about K'Sante here as well for G2 if they wanted it? Just, you know, gives you a little bit more pressure in the lane than an Ornn would, but...
I think, yeah, K'Sante works really nicely. I think Poppy could also be pretty good, but
it's been banned.
Oh yeah, it's been banned actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I missaw that. There's a Renekton.
So is this going to be Tristana?
I feel like it could be pretty good in double AD. I'm not sure what else Caps can run. There's so many mid bans is the problem, and they still have the Jayce, so they could still get counted if they do decide to blind something like the Ahri could work. But again, Ahri with this comp, is that the direction you want to go in? Doesn't really fit well enough. Caps always cooks for us, and he's always got something up his sleeve.
Lucian. So Lucian into Jayce, a very common counter matchup in the good old days. Could of course be Cog mid, but I think into Maokai Jayce that's not going to work too well.
Yeah, Uzi was playing Lucian Braum today.
Yep.
So is it going to be the Jayce mid? Looks like it. Gragas top into Renekton can work. The Jax is open, which is actually an Eastern classic into the Renekton, but doesn't look like Vodo wants to run that. Gnar could be an option. in trying to nullify that lane. But yeah, double AD solo laners gonna go for the Gnar. I think Malphite could have also been an angle, but then your AP is quite high, isn't it? But I think XL, Kai'Sa, Jayce, Maokai, that 3-man core, the amount of poke they have is absurd. And G2's only real form of engage is that Rell, so they need to get this Kog'Maw rolling. I think XL will be pretty happy with this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Lucian isn't too surprising because it was Caps ran it against BDS last week, so it's something he's brought out recently as the counter into Jayce. But Nuke's Jayce is relatively good. You have a strong teamfight composition. You've got good poke as well from XL. So overall, this comp a little bit more well-rounded than their first.
The only reason Lucian mid solo lane kind of fell off was the changes to like having that support with you for the extra damage, right? So he doesn't really have that only in the mid jungle 2v2s overall.
I think they did update him on 13.12 or 13.13, where if someone immobilizes someone, you still get that passive on the Lucian.
So that helps with mid jungle
because you have the Rell, right? Like you have a bit of CC at least to help that out. So can still get some of those extra light slinger shots off, but won't be as effective as Lucian Nami, which obviously is what we usually see.
Right. So game 2 is super important here for XL. If this Jayce Maokai doesn't work now, they might be out of options because they're facing a match point G2, and it's the Kog'Maw Braum classic from G2 with the Lucian. We're about ready to get into this game 2, and we'll see you in a sec.
You a ribeye man, Caedrel? A sirloin?
I don't know the difference. I did like T-bone though. That one was pretty.
You like your steaks? Well, I can give you some of them.
I can see this first fight. That's some steak right there.
Stun on Limit. He's going to get concussive blows, and Limit isn't even going to burn a summoner. He's dead. First blood over to G2.
Wow, these level 1s. It was great for XL in the first game. Now it's terrible. Giving that kill over to the Renekton. It's not the end of the world because it won't impact bot side. Hansama used the Ghost as well for... He's got the dagger and 4 potions, but yeah, an extra longsword for the Renekton.
Anyway, before I was really interrupted by G2, the stakes for this game, where the winner will play in our finals next Sunday, already through to those, will definitely be top 2. If XL win, they lock themselves into season finals, which is our world's qualification tournament and our grand championship of the LEC in about a month's time. Also, if XL win, they lock Koi out of those season finals. So it'll either be Heretics or Fnatic joining them. If G2 win, XL can still make it into the season finals. They are not eliminated from this match. They would play up against the winner of Heretics Koi next week. And we'll see how that goes when we get there. For the moment, though, G2 out to an early lead. 400 extra gold in BrokenBlade, on BrokenBlade right now. He's got double longsword to start off this lane.
Yeah, all of Koi are big G2 fans right now.
Yeah.
Don't want to get locked out. And yeah, the double longsword will be great for any trades when the Renekton gets towards that level 3. But again, this Kog'Maw Braum into Alistar, Limit's going to have a really tough time. He needs to get out of this lane phase. I think that they're going to get kind of bullied down here. Alistar level 1 can't even walk up to auto-attack the creeps, so obviously G2 will get the push early and will be able to stack waves. What does Yike do is my question. He's going to do red Krugs into Raptors. Does he just go into bot side and sack his top side and try to play for these dives, which they can easily pull off, I think, with the amount of damage that they've got on the stacking wave potential, or does he just try to match top? We'll keep our eyes on him. This Caps is getting some nice trades. The Q through the minions is the ideal Lucian poke through these solo lanes and bot lane in general. But we'll see what kind of trades they get down on the bot side. If Hansama and Mikyx can get the upper hand and chunk out Patrik before this wave crashes, then they can look for dives. But it looks like Yike is going to move top side.
Yeah, covering off any potential gank there from Peach. And Peach, although we didn't see too much of him in the early game in game 1, there's a player for XL that really began to shine at the latter portions of Summer in groups. 100% kill participation, high kills and assists at the 14-minute mark, and big gold leads as well. I think in week 1, he went from not really being that active. He did have 100% KP, but that's because they only got 1 kill, and he was involved in it in the entirety of week 1 before the 14-minute mark. Yike here looking for an invade. He's going to be able to sneak this away under Peach's eye. Oh, Peach gets it with the Bramble Smash across the wall alongside the Smite. Just yoinks that one.
Nice, isn't it?
Really good for Peach. I mean, Yike took so much time. He's now 3 camps behind Peach. Yike could look for a gank in the mid lane. Has the Hex Flash, as you say. The Pheromancy mount up will still give you that flick back. That little mini cinch.
There he goes.
Hex Flash forward. Abbedagge early flash away. Smart from him. Caps going low as Peach now
Peach can kill
took
Caps.
a long way around, and Caps nowhere for him to go. He flashes, but Peach chases him with a twisted advance.
Much better early game here from XL, managing to get the ball rolling now through mid a little bit. Peach recovering that Krug, making it so Yike is obviously a little bit far behind on the camp clear. He's going to move towards his top camps now. And we'll see what G2 can do on this bot side.
Yike will go Scuttle Crab first, then go over towards his blue side. Peach can just get his reset off, has already done a full clear. And I have another look at this. It's the sapling giving vision, I believe, into the Bramble smash.
Yep.
And that's just, is that just a blind smash?
Just lucky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very nice from Peach there.
And then we see the mid lane gank Peach coming around. Yike had looked for it, but Abbedagge fast on the trigger finger with the flash away.
Nice pickup there from XL. And we see Peach taking a recall on this bot side. Has the flash, but he's kind of has no flash, sorry, but he's kind of sitting on a ward. So that time that he can get from Yike being behind, he's actually maybe going to get a flash here if Limit wants to commit.
Yeah, Unbreakable pretty strong. Limit going in with a knock-up, and now Hans Summer has the Ghost running, but can he get away? Still has the Flash Ignite, and the Void Seeker, enough for XL to get their second kill of the game.
Oh, G2, that is unacceptable, isn't it? There's a Maokai recalling in Tribush. You just gave them a kill and lost 4 summoners in bots. Abbedagge, Caps, is he gonna...
They just walked past him.
But what Caps?
G2, what are you doing?
What is that such a Caps moment? I mean, I get it. He wants to run out of tower range before he uses his combo, but my man, you're running through a Jayce just free hitting you. Caps dies. XL are winning mid and bot now, all of a sudden, despite being down in CS. Yikes, fighting Odoamne on a ward. Peach on the way to cover any kind of dive that they want to look for. Flipback's going to come through.
Odo still has the jump here. Ruthless Predator still will get the stun off. Peach on his way, but BrokenBlade's very healthy. Yike looking for the re-engage. The sapling coming down. BrokenBlade able to get away from the slope. And G2 will escape the top lane. But, yeah, overall, G2 just being very messy in their play.
I can't wait to see the replay. Can we...
Ooh, oh, flat, what? BrokenBlade, he has 6, he gets the kill.
Huge.
Nice, slice and dice out.
Huge solo kill there from BrokenBlade, taking down Odoamne underneath the tower. Odoamne kind of struggling a little bit this series up against BB's Renekton. This is the second time he's getting the better hand in terms of impact on the game. Jayce wasn't really there, and now the Gnar is struggling, but what happened bot G2? We need to see the replay of the vision, because that Maokai was...
He's a tree, so he just blends in, right? We'll have another look at mid first.
So Caps is running out of tower range here on purpose so he can burst Abbedagge, but by the time he's out of tower range, he's dead.
Yep.
Plus 44 gold as well from the first strike, so a nice 300 easy pick up there for Abbedagge, despite Lucian being 0-2. And now it's XL's job to just control the mid-bot side of the map. Try and punish G2 on push-outs, try and punish the Lucian. The Maokai will have flash first on the Lucian as well, so that's an easy way to find some kind of pressure or kill. Limit will maybe hex flash over when it comes up and look for a combo if G2 want to try and look for a tower plate. And Yike's hovering towards mid. Abbedagge has no flash. Yike has the flash. That could be some kind of setup there, but Abbedagge is playing very far back if you look at the minimap, making sure he's not vulnerable to any kind of gank. Maybe he knows he's there with that pink ward. Question mark ping's coming down. I think he does.
Yeah, Yike will now spot the pink ward, only level 4. About half a level behind Peach right now. Peach in his bot side jungle puts the sapling down. Yike shadowing a strike on the blue. Won't know yet that Peach is here. Able to force him away for the moment because the G2 bot lane has had the push and so can now move across. But Patrik and Limit pushed out the wave once again, and they will join forces with their jungler to see if there's anything happening here. Limit going in with a hex splash. Yike looking for the knockup. Does get it onto Limit. Twisted advance going in from Peach, but Yike is so deep. Unbreakable, saving Yike's life for so long, but Peach finds him through the midst of it all, and that's another over to XL. The chase could continue. Patrik not yet 6 though. Doesn't have that killer instinct to go any further.
X-Flash is out of range. They can look for a dragon if they want to, or they can just take a base and take this tempo and move out towards the top side on his camp's respawn here. Peach, the crab is up, and Yike needs to move towards his red. Look at the levels right now. Yike close to 5, but Peach close to 6.
Patrik has nothing here. Unbreakable coming down. They need one more auto for the concussive blows, but the W has expired for Hans Summer, so it doesn't quite have the range to get onto Patrik.
So close. G2 almost finding a double kill there. The one more auto proc on both of them would have been a kill. This is really hairy for XL. I mean, you can hex flash in here, Limit, but I think you're going to die. Mikyx's exhaust is up in a couple of seconds, but so is Patrick's cleanse. A big trade from BrokenBlade onto Odoamne.
Odo's really feeling the pain of that first blood. You know, the extra longsword, then the quicker pickaxe has made it so difficult for him as Limit decides doesn't want to venture into the world unknown, and that fight in the bottom lane. Living artillery now available to Hans Summer. That ultimate on the Kog'Maw could be enough to pick off Patrik and Limit.
This lane is really tough, isn't it, for the Alistar Kai'Sa into Kog'Maw Braum. That's going to be a second plate falling. G2 are probably just going to fast push this wave and take a reset. The question is, does Patrik stay for the wave? It's a cannon. They'll take a little bit faster push in, but they've got the minion D-man. I think Patrik has to stay. Giving up that wave is horrendous. He's just going to have to hope that G2 back away and reset, and then when he sees that they're recalling, he can catch it. Does G2 stay when he sees Patrik?
Looks like they do.
Mikyx, yeah, they're saying, you know what?
I mean, they
guys
just
want
hit
to stay.
double
We're
six.
level 6. They can maybe look for some kind of dive here. They have exhaust, but do they know where Peach is? He's going to be spotted on Herald now, I think, is Peach as he walks in to contest this. Abbedagge low on mana. Odoamne no top push. They're going to have to give this one up. And XL are channeling their recalls again, but I don't think they can base still. Yeah, there's a cancel on the recall. They can't just give up a wave. It's going to be even more of a tough lane phase if they just sacrifice an entire wave to them. But now Peach has found a way into this top side, and
Abba moving first from mid as well.
Give this?
Looks like it. Yike might look for the steal, can't quite get it. BrokenBlade going for Odoamne. Abbedagge the first to move from the mid lane as the Nature's Grasp comes down from Peach. They're chasing onto Odo. He gets the Mega just in time. The gnome into the wall, and Odo takes Abbe takes the shutdown. In fact, Riptail picked up for Peach as well. Caps not moving from mid.
Wow.
Meant that G2 were always at a numbers disadvantage.
I'm surprised. I think it's because Yike's smite isn't upgraded,
Yeah.
and Peach's is. So if you see here on the bottom, it's red smite versus yellow smite, and Peach's, he does have smite up, that's a spectator bug. He doesn't actually have the smite damage Yike to secure it. That's why he was so hesitant and he wanted to back off. On top of that, the mid push being in XL's favor, even though G2 are much stronger on the top side when it comes to the Gnar versus Renekton, they didn't have the smite to secure it, so Yike was scared of it just being stolen away. And that comes back to the early clear, you know, getting those Krugs, getting the early camps in. Yike was so far down on clear that now he's ticked over with that upgraded smite.
It's a few plays from G2 that have left us wondering a little bit, it feels. You could have just, you know, accepted your losses, backed away from the play, but instead forcing for it. You look at the blue buff, you look at the Rift Herald a couple of times. They've just overstayed, even Caps just walking through the mid lane tower. For the moment, though, XL 1,000 gold in the lead. A lot of that sitting, well, all of that sitting on their jungle mid. Abbe, almost 1,000 gold up himself. A K as well for Peach, who has the demonic already completed.
K. What? That just sounds funny.
Yeah,
it's like
a grand.
K. Yeah.
I'm sure there are better names for it.
Whoa,
1G.
Culling is, I feel like I kind of walked into it because of Yike.
Peach going back in with a twisted advance, though, and there's the knocker. Yike now needs the reinforcements of Hans, Summer, and Mikyx, and will find them. Limit with the Unbreakable Will. Very tanky right now as Mikyx falls to 200 HP. Abbe has to flash away the exhaust. Twisted advance all the way into the back line, but Limit delivered the knock-up. And XL find 2 again.
XL really fighting back. Ooh! The Kog'Maw passive finds the shutdown.
High play right there. He's maximizing that passive.
Good def indeed. Using that Kog'Maw passive to get a shutdown onto the Jayce. Herald mid for Patrik. Still a little bit down in gold, but this should recover a lot of it, especially with that static ship. He has got the minion D-man, so he can push out these waves when he gets a couple more levels under his belt. And Caps is just doing Caps things. You know, one game he hits 3 times in a row, massive lead goals and wins the game for his team. And now he's on the Lucian. He's up in CS and he's pushing Abbedagge in, but he's just dying so many times. Playing so far forwards up against this Maokai, who can, you know, easily just press that twisted advance, and then you've got nowhere really to go, Caps.
And the poke composition from XL beginning to really come online as well. Duskblade already finished on the Jayce. Static Shiv, as we said, on Patrik. He'll be building up towards that second item now. Alongside that, a poke that can be overlooked is the saplings from the Maokai. You put a few of those out, that's a quarter of someone's health very easily when you have the demonic this early.
So Caps' culling went really wide here. I think he tried to culling through the creep to get the kill, but Abbedagge ran towards the bot side, but he had to run back up because of Yike. Dash forward? Maokai was in range of just pressing one spell there. Didn't even have to use the flash, and we can see it was a very messy trade, but overall XL get the better hand on the live picture though.
Dragon started, secured. Oh, Peach steals it. TP behind now as BrokenBlade looks for a flank position. Yike going in, limit low, down to 300 HP as Abbedagge dives into the backline. Patrik going in as well with the killer instinct. BrokenBlade trying to get onto Abbedagge. He'll get the shutdown. Actually falls over to Hans Summer as now Peach has to run for the hills. The culling chasing him down. The rest of G2 on their way as Peach will fall. Timber goes the tree. 3v3 now erupts in the river as Limit dashed in, knocks BrokenBlade out just in time. Limit so low, he dodges the first living artillery. Hans Summer has the mana for a second, but can't quite find his man.
Hex flashes back into the pit, does Limit to try and rejoin this. And it's just a mess, isn't it? Maybe we will break the kill record at this rate. We're at 14 right now at 13 minutes. Odoamne jumps over the wall and Caps dashes on his head. Can he get the kill here, Caps? No. Wants to maybe flash.
Oh. No killer instinct, though.
He had to just stop his recall there, wondering if he needed to bail his mid laner out. BrokenBlade's gonna get a plating towards mid. So Odoamne TP's in. BrokenBlade was TPing from behind, and the Renekton is really strong right now. Probably the strongest member on G2. So if he has uptime there, BB can wreak havoc on the back line. And gonna stop Odo's base. But it's the poke XL, that was a fight where they just kind of threw themselves in, knowing they had to fight and get the dragon quickly. They didn't even get any setup or poke down. So we'll see how the next couple fights go.
I will say this is how the Braum Kog'Maw games went for G2 during the regular season. They did tend to fall behind in the early game. Perhaps not in exactly this way, but we'll have another look at this dragon fight.
So watch Patrik here. He's going to dash onto the backline in just a second as Mikyx blocks a lot of damage. Really nice R flash there, but he gets instantly bunted back. Now here comes BrokenBlade. Patrik gets the kill. He will find Abbedagge with the flash. Patrik has to flash over, and Limits are both on the other side of the Drake. Now you'll see Odoamne fighting Yike, Peach fighting Caps. It's kind of 1v1 split across the map, and as Limit then comes back into the pit with the blast cone, he realizes, well, I might die to this Renekton. Eventually just push him out of the dragon pit, and the fine speed just to dodge away from the living artillery means that they can get out alive. It ends up in a 2-for-2. But XL get the dragon. Peach just kind of walked in and smited it in front of Yike. It's only the first dragon of the game though, 14 minutes in, and BrokenBlade will pick up the first tower.
I will say it's the third objective Peach has managed to steal away from Yike this game. We had the red buff to start things off, then the Rift Herald, now the dragon. Peach on fine form right now, 2-1-6. Has been involved in all but one of his team's kills.
Pink ward will spot Yike. Nice placement there, so Patrik knows that the jungler of G2 is lurking in the top rushes. Limit's going to find Caps here, who just kind of face checks.
Yep. Gets knocked back. Sun's going to connect as well, and Caps really has nowhere to go. Flashes away from the damage, though. Nature's Glass coming from Peach from the side. Unbreakable being used as well with Abbedagge. He went around the wall, and that's enough for 2 quick kills. Over to XL, make it 3. Add 1 more on top for XL.
And they chose red side. They ran back a different draft in terms of taking away the Kai'Sa. G2 didn't take the Jayce away. Abbedagge now 10 out of 12 kills. Limit on this Alistar is just ruthless, isn't he? Well, he's just missed a Q flash as well.
Yep. He's been doing well so far, though.
I wanted to give him some props, and then...
The thing is, if he gets it, Yike's dead, and then you have, you know, another person, mismatch reset timing from the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Makes the Rift Herald easier, but XL will still be able to secure it. 4,000 gold now, their lead, Caedrel. This is looking very much like the reverse of game 1. Like, yeah. XL are as far ahead as G2 were around this portion of the game.
Anything you can do, I can do better, says XL. And they stick to a similar sort of plan with the Alistar, with the Maokai. And the Jayce impact in mid, you can see, is just night and day. Caps on this Lucian, I wonder when he'll really start to get on the line. Right now, he's building towards what I expect to be Navori
Game 3,
probably, or Essence Reaver. Game 3 is when he'll come back. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on Hans really to carry the weight of this. Odoamne is fighting up against BrokenBlade.
Triforce can
no
do a
flash
lot
on
of work,
BB.
Yeah, BB really no way out either. The Gnar into the wall from Odo. Good dodging from BrokenBlade, but the chase continues. Yike coming back in with the Predator being used as Odo now has to try and escape. Nature's Glass and Peach won't reach his top laner in time. TP as well from XL. Now they're trying to collapse on Hans Summer and Mikyx, and they're doing that perfectly. Patrik chasing Hans Summer out. Flash still available for the Kog'Maw. He'll manage to escape and join the back of his team. Frontline tanky enough to distract XL for long enough for G2 to retreat.
Bit of a blunder there from Odo. Maybe he thought he had the ult range. Caps has dashed over this wall with Mikyx, maybe hoping that Abbedagge will go towards bot wave and face check the Lucian. Braum will be a lot of damage, but he's not going to be... Is he going to move towards the bot side? Oh, Abbedagge was thinking about it, and this is the pick that Mikyx and Caps were looking for. Now they see that ward. Abbedagge senses something's up, but here comes Caps.
Caps over Mikyx as well. The unbreakable wall stops Abbedagge's damage, but he manages to flash just in time, and Odo's TP'd in to help out his mid laner. It's a massive mess. The counter TP now from BrokenBlade.
What's going on?
A 4v3 in favor of XL. If Abbedagge can rejoin the fray. The twisted advance flash forward, knock back as Caps falls. Buried in the dirt, and now Yike retreating to the safety of his tower, but Odo
there it is.
Into the wall. The Magnus Storm will not be enough to stop XL's advance. Patrik dives in with a killer instinct, and Yike falls for the triple for Abbedagge.
Massive game here from Abbedagge on the Jayce, and it's a pick which G2 tried to set up, but it turns into 4 kills for XL. All of a sudden, everyone was ready to collapse, and they just didn't have the damage to get the kill onto the Jayce. The hammer form resistance is helping him out so much in living, flashing over the wall. Odoamne is quick on the TP, snaps that button, gets down here, throws the Q, doesn't get the slow onto Caps, so he focuses down Mikyx. But then it's Limit that comes in. Caps thinks they can turn because BB's now TPing in. Yike's kind of wondering how he can get himself involved in the fight, but eventually he'll end up falling, and so XL now are the ones in this game with almost a kill a minute.
Yeah. And it's the issue with playing into poke like this as well. As soon as you're on the back foot, Abbedagge can stand 3 screens away and still hit you with those accelerated shot blasts.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if he's low. He manages to pick up 3 in this exchange. And on that Jayce, he is a terror. 9, 2, and 5. 2.5 items already complete for him. And for XL, a 5,000 gold lead, 10 more kills than G2. 18 minutes in, they're almost going at a kill a minute. The only reason we're not going to beat the record set in the last game is that G2 aren't keeping up, it seems.
No,
XL.
They start fighting back, don't they? He's getting close to Cyrilda's at 18 minutes. He's going to get a top tower as well. Could look for a top tier 2 if they can land some nice poke. They're going to see Mikyx basing. The Q just flew across the map from Patrik. Now they're 5-man here. Caps is recalling. No TP, actually not going to cancel the base. Maybe they're saying here, G2, well, we can't defend this top tier 2. Caps just push out bot and try to deny a wave. We'll show some presence, but there's no real way of defending this limit. With the Hex Flash was ready in case someone stepped up. And now the question is, can Caps get that bot tier 2? The answer is possibly no. We'll see how quick they are on the recalls here, XL, and getting Odoamne back towards that bot side. But would be great for Caps, you know, getting this tower, 600 gold and an objective bounty. It's probably worth the die, even if someone was TPing behind him here. Just pick up that tower, tank the damage, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
He's definitely going to die. Odo will chase him down.
It's worth it.
It definitely is.
It's worth 300 gold, yeah, but he got double that on the tower and gave his team an objective bounty. And Dragon's on up for 3 minutes 30. No Baron for 30 seconds, and he has TP, so they won't lose too much off the back of that. Nice kill for Odoamne.
Good death.
Good death indeed. Still down 3,500 gold to the Jayce, though, who now has the Mirror Mana too.
I think coming into this series, a lot of people looked at the mid lane matchup as the one that swayed most heavily towards G2. Caps on an absolute tear so far. Abbedagge, good, but off Azir, often, you know, not the key point of his team. Here he's shown that with a little bit of an early lead and a little bit of a questionable play from Caps, he's been able to extend that and really shut that Lucian out of this matchup.
Caps is secretly wants to be an AD carry. You know, he role swapped once for a split for G2. He was the first to bring Varus mid, you know, with the AP and stuff like that. He always wants to
Lucian.
go Vayne. He wants to go Vayne. He wants to go Tristana. He wants to go Lucian. You know, secretly in his blood, there's just days where Caps wakes up and says, I play Kog'Maw mid. I'm an AD carry now. Well, Baron start here for XL. Have they got sapling set up, and can they land the poke? There's one in that pink water brush from G2, but they see it. It'll do a lot of damage though. With the demonic embrace, you can see BrokenBlade dashing away.
Oh, and Mikyx was separated. Puts the Unbreakable up. TP now coming out. Nature's Scar's being used as well as Mikyx tries to block the Unbreakable. Glacial Fissure from Mikyx. He knows he's going to die. Can he get the rest of his team out alive? Caps caught up with the Twisted Advance. Tries to turn it back onto Peach, but now Limit diving in. Killer Instinct as well from Patrik as they look for more blood. They look for more kills, and they'll get another. XL with 3-0 in the exchange.
20 kills, almost 21 minutes now. That's an easy Baron for XL. And here in game 2, XL fighting back with a massive punch back to G2, which I think no one expected after that game 1. G2 looks so dominant. It's all come from mid lane, I feel like, this game. You know, Odoamne lost out, got solo killed by BB. The bot matchup was so good and they had permanent bot push, but I feel like Peach and Abbedagge just got the better hand of Caps here. Q flash from Limit, Mikyx flashes away. It's not too bad for G2 actually trading that Alistar flash, and then the ult from Mikyx and a choke thinks that maybe it looks good, but look at Caps, just TP'd in. Twisted Advance, he's gone. Lucian can't really impact this fight at all. Yike's kind of stuck there with no flash, saying, well, my W just got cancelled over the wall. And yeah, BrokenBlade hands just there to watch, really. They can't really do anything.
I think to give Mikyx the benefit of the doubt, he's blocking Caps there. He doesn't want the root to land on Caps as soon as he comes out of that TP, so he does everything he can to try and keep his mid laner alive, but unable to do so. BrokenBlade walks away from Peach, but now Baron for 2.5 minutes. XL, 8,000 gold ahead. Peach goes forward, but now Peach locked up and the rest of his team unable to follow up, and for once this game, Peach makes a drastic mistake. XL still able to push in. They got mid pressure with Odoamne. The Baron buff helping him out as he takes it down the tier 2. But the advance will be slowed a little bit at least without Peach on the map.
Nice pick up there, XL. Maybe looking for a fight here. Odoamne has the TP and they can see Caps towards mid without it, but now they realize Caps is moving down into this bot side jungle. If they do engage, it'll be a 5v5. Patrik really wants to jump on the Hanser and get the kill, but Mikyx can block it straight away. Another one. Whoa.
Yeah, that play would be the creme de la creme if he dashed in like that. As Yike looks for the backline, gets onto Abbedagge, gets the stun down, the Cunner coming out as well, but Limit doing a great job to block all of those shots, and now Odoamne joins the battle. Abbedagge goes godlike as BrokenBlade falls. Caps goes down for the 8th time this game, and Mikyx follows him to the grave. Summer, the last man standing as he tries to clear out the wave, but he just can't escape today. No way out for G2 as Limit secures his 2nd of the fight.
Peach is going to move towards the Dragon. That should be an easy pickup. How much can XL get off the back of this? There's 10 seconds on Yike, 15 on Mikyx. I think they might have to just settle for an inhibitor bot and maybe a tier 3 on the mid tower. They'll get the Drake, put themselves on soul point, and similar situation to game 1. This game is done and dusted at this point.
23 minutes in, 32 kills, and a 14,000 gold lead. Now, if you told me that before the series started, I would have said, yeah, I can see that happening. What I wouldn't have thought was that XL were the ones in that 13,000 gold lead. They're going to get their third dragon of the game. Soul a possibility in about 5 minutes time, but have another look at this because Yike is looking for anything for G2.
Just almost gets one shot, doesn't he? He dies and then the Duskblade comes in from Abbedagge, so as much as he gets stunned, he knocks back BrokenBlade. He gets melted from Patrik. Patrik then dashes onto Caps and then the fight's over. Hans has to run for his life, has the flash, but where is he flashing? There's an Alistar behind him, there's a Gnar in front of him. Kind of sandwich here into his tower, and I think Yamato put it best. Every time you put XL in this kind of box of they've hit a ceiling, they won't really come back, they'll never do this. They always just break through it, and I think a lot of people expected just G2 to come in and waltz past XL as the favorites, quick 3-0, but no, XL are going to take game 2 here, and we're going to be in a best of 3. We'll see how G2 change up the draft and adapt. Maybe they want to take away red side from XL. Maybe they think this Jayce Maokai is a problem. But now XL just have to close this one out.
I could even switch away from the Rell and look towards the Kai'Sa first pick if you think that might be more impactful. It's definitely been so for Patrik this game, 3-0-10. He's having a very strong performance, although he hasn't been the key point for XL. That's been all Abbedagge. 3 items and the BF sword alongside it. Odo now pushing in mid. G2 having to defend on 2 fronts.
Yeah, 4-1 coming in. They don't have the Baron. It's 2 minutes, 30 seconds away, but they have a really good comp to just siege down, don't they? Just Kai'Sa W spam, Jayce QE spam. He's going to miss there onto Hans, but as soon as one of them lands, he's going to have to run back to base. Here comes the Maokai ult to zone them away. Does G2 flinch?
Oh, Miky's already low. G2 can't flinch because they can't move. Miky rooted up and dies before he has an opportunity to react. Peach falling low, though. It's Unsummer with 2 items. Is starting to put some DPS down. Oh, and then flashes in, shut down. Killer instinct for Patrik. He's locked up as well. He manages to flash out just in time. The culling onto Abbedagge now as he's going to get stunned up and locked up and killed off. And XL, you've been way too greedy. You've gone way too deep. As they saw the win in their eyes, but G2 slammed the door in their face.
Unsummer lives and he's dishing out so much damage, isn't he? It's quite funny to just see Limit flash over the wall and look for the headbutt pulverize, but just get one shot mid-air, and then all of XL are basically full committed from that point. So here we'll see it again. The Maokai ult comes out. They're calling Odoamne to be ready for any kind of engage. It lands onto Miky. Miky gets melted. And then you think that XL will focus down the tower, but Limit gets chunked out. Watch Hans on the uptime, just chunking down this Alistar. And then as he flashes forwards here for the re-engage onto the Kog'Maw, he kind of dies mid-air. Don't know what it was, but yeah. Oh, Hans Q flash auto attack as well. Dodges away. Patrik then dives in, but doesn't have the W by the looks of it. Unsummer then lives because he's not isolated. Patrik flashes out. Peach is stuck there. Abbedagge has flash, but he's stunned up, and then they've just given over a lot of shutdowns to G2.
1,000 extra gold for BrokenBlade. You can see the damage that Unsummer can do. XL will be licking their wounds a little bit after that. They are still 10,000 gold ahead. They have a Baron coming up in a minute's time. They can gain control of this topside jungle, and assuming they don't overextend in a similar manner, they should be fine. So all they have to do is learn their lesson from their little misplay, and they can close this one out.
Got a lot of room to make mistakes with this gold lead that they've accrued. And yeah, looks like with Baron spawning, they can just easily rush that down. All they have to do is set up vision, set up saplings, and Abbedagge has to be ready to poke anyone out who walks through.
Call that one an oopsie daisy. Where I'm from.
If Iron was in the game, yeah.
Good one. TP coming in though. Still 25 seconds on the Baron. 3 items for Unsummer. Does mean that he will have a lot of damage to do if he has the time to do so. No flash for him, none for Patrik either. Abbedagge does have his. So does Yike. Engage possibilities, still an option for G2. However, they have to step into darkness to get anywhere near the big purple worm.
The game is on Hans, but he has no flash, and they have so much poke. So look how far back he is. He doesn't want to get chunked out, and he wants to get involved somehow.
I mean, Baron
is just going to get destroyed. 1 minute 20 seconds on the Dragon as well. G2 are now walking up, but Caps is not even here.
And maybe just looking to see if they can find someone a little bit low. XL, yeah, sprint up towards the top lane. The wave crashing just outside that tier 3. G2 now perhaps will realize, oh, we have left the door a little bit ajar, and XL have now opened it up. They're going to TP down here as Abbedagge tries to join this one quickly. The rest of G2 backing away in the mid lane. Caps doing the same, but this inhibitor tower will be razed to the ground before they can even get there, and XL not greedy this time as they back away with BrokenBlade and Yike on the flank.
The aggressive option here is to play for double inhibitor. The easy option is just to move mid and secure this dragon and set up vision exactly like they did with the Baron. Let's see how they decide to do it. Right now, XL seem a bit torn. They're waiting for Odoamne to push. It looks like they're going to go for the aggressive option of getting these inhibitors. Now, G2 can take a fight if they want. It's a question of when.
Miky using the Unbreakable there does give the XL more of an option because Peach can pop down the Nature's Grasp without having that wall to block it. See if he uses it early on here as the engage begins. BrokenBlade going in. There's the Nation's Grass and G2 all retreat. 5 members strong. That root's going to hit onto only Mikyx, but he's going to sacrifice his life to block for the rest of his team. Limit able to get in, but there's the Magnus Storm kicking Hans Summer. Put any damage down during this time? The answer's no. XL wipe away G2 in their base. G2 trying to answer. Hans Summer still alive, but Patrik is not going to let that stand. A triple for the Kai'Sa to round it out. A quadra, in fact, as XL even us up at 1-1.
42 kills. How many did we have last game?
I think it was a couple with like 45, 46.
It's a bloody series,
like
isn't it? 80, 90 kills, upwards of that so far in these 2 games. And yeah, XL strike back with a very similar game to what G2 did to them in game 1. To be honest, I think that Jayce, Kai'Sa, Maokai is absurdly strong right now, and XL would love to get their hands on it in any draft. I think G2 will make a quick adaptation to deny that. But now we're in a best of 3, which is quite surprising. I think the XL have definitely come with a lot of force, a lot of strength as a team, more importantly, than just having like an individual solo lane taking over, because both sides were losing. They played that through mid.
And even if, you have to remember, like, G2 are in our season finals. If XL win this series, they get to season finals after not making groups for 2 splits in a row. There's a lot on the line for them. They're not eliminated if they lose, but still, if they can pick up 2 more wins against G2, they have that shot at Worlds for the first time in the organization's history. We're going to hand it over to the Analysts to break down game 2 and lead us into our best of 3.
Thank you, Medic. XL strikes back here in Game 2 of our Best of 5 in playoff. And guys, I know that on social, online, everywhere, and even us backstage, we're questioning XL approach of going back on red side, given the team's tendencies usually to favor blue side. What did you think of this approach and choice for them, Broxah?
I was very skeptical of it at first because, like, when looking back at my own League of Legends career, 2017 up until now, I barely remember a single patch ever where picking red side was actually the way to go, because usually that would just be OPs of blue side. You can kind of control the phase of, or like the pace, sorry, of the entire draft. Still, XL came in with a clear plan. They shut down all the early game aggression from G2. They took the Kalista out of the equation by banning it. They ended up picking Kai'Sa early. They grabbed the Jayce. And all of a sudden, when having all this pressure in the early game, they looked like a completely different team.
I think it also comes down to the fact that the draft becomes overloaded. And I think that was kind of what XL was aiming at in the first game as well, where they snatched the Maokai Jayce rotation. I think the big mistake they made there was that they went for the Kai'Sa, and they obviously went for that rotation. And what I mean by that is that when you are blue side, you obviously have the luxury of picking the most OP you think it is. For G2 is Rell, but that also means that you're giving over 2 more OPs on red side when they're not banned. And as you can see in G2's blue side, they're not banning so many of the OPs. The Rumble's out there, but then it's Rakan and Poppy. So it's a very wide pool of different champions you can get that enabled XL to get a red side draft, which was Maokai, Kai'Sa, and Jayce, which was absolutely fantastic for them.
And I think it's interesting on the set of G2 that, as you said, it's mostly about trading OPs on each side. And here they favored the approach of, let's bring in the flex picks we have and the ones that have been successful in the likes of Lucian mid, Kog'Maw. But when you look at the early game and how things went, I'm questioning G2's approach here. Have they been too hasty? Was this one of the happy moments of G2, or were they just not playing to their comp strength, Broxah?
Well, I think the problem is that normally these champions would be flex pick, but in this case they broke the Rell flex immediately by logging in Braum and Kog'Maw, and they essentially gave over a free Jayce to XL, which could easily have been avoided.
Another problem I think occurred in it was that they kept going for plays on the side of G2. All the plays that you're currently seeing on your screen right now is G2 initiating and then losing. And this Rift Herald as well was them starting the Rift Herald, then backing off, then going back in and getting re-engaged on. And even though they made some of the mistakes in the early game, G2, it still felt like, oh, if you stop now, you can still have agency in the mid game.
Yeah.
But they never stopped. They kept going forward, and because they kept going forward, XL got so much momentum, and suddenly they started rolling away with the games. You can't get OPs kills in the early game. G2 got the luxury of having that in the first game, but in this one it was XL.
In a lot of ways, they're reminding me of Fnatic last week,
Yeah.
where they simply had no stop button. They would just go all in no matter what, no setup phase, no thinking, just see champion, kill champion mentality. And maybe in solo queue that would work for you, but in this case, these guys actually have comms. They can talk about what's going on. They're like, guys, Caps is overextended, BrokenBlade is overextended, turn on him. And guess what happens? They turn around, they kill them, they get 3 kills, and all of a sudden, there's just no way back anymore.
It's not a scream, guys. It's an official. You guys have to focus, and I feel like maybe G2 got a bit more too comfortable here, thinking that they could try this risky plays, but at the end of the day, it's still a best of 5. And it's unlike G2, with what we've been seeing from them lately of playing more methodical and not going for this risky plays. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen next game. But the main adaptation for me on Excel's side is Abbedagge. We've talked about him on a different pick, on the Jayce, clearly popping off this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You speak of comfort. I mean, Abbedagge definitely looked like he was comfortable, and it made me question why he did not get the Jayce in the first game as well, because he was an absolute menace on it. While G2 absolutely griefed their early game, Abbedagge made the most of it as well with the early kills he got, and he did not stop either. The problem for G2 and the blessing for Excel was that Abbedagge not having a stop button was absolutely perfect for them. He kept finding kills, he got so accelerated on the Jayce, and every time he got a kill, he went into the Duskblade form, and all of a sudden G2 could never trade back in these extended trades.
What needs to be remembered as well is that while Abbedagge, is considered the weak link of Excel, in some ways he's gone under the radar a little bit, because his main weakness has been the early game. In this game, Caps ended up diving him, he failed, Abbedagge got an early advantage, meaning he basically got to the mid game for free. And that's usually where he starts shining. It doesn't matter how poor the early game is. Mid and late game, he's a real carry and a real threat. And Caps just let him get there for basically no reason.
There's some good Caps games and there's some other Caps games, let's say, but on the side of Abbedagge, when I think of him, his career and his achievements, he strikes to me as the kind of player who needs to be set up and who needs this confidence to get the ball running, and he got it here. They win this one, but what can we expect on the rest of the series? Because when I see the last moments of the game, Excel rushing into G2's base, they could have lost the game here. This was an opportunity for G2 to come back. So how do you rate Excel's progress from game 1 to game 2, and what can we expect next?
Day and night. I think Excel, this is dream scenario for them. Like, you break the downwards momentum you're obviously maybe spiraling towards after just getting played with and toyed with in the first game, till you are now toying with them in the second game. So that just speaks to the fact that whoever really gets the early game rolling can absolutely continue to snowball it. And I think Excel coming off a momentum here, finding an idea of how you want to approach the draft phase, but also what you want to get on your champions, certainly is very nice to them. I think it's up to G2 now, with them choosing blue side again, finding different adaptations, because I definitely think you cannot give them the first 3 picks that they got on their red side draft.
I'm also not surprised seeing G2 select the blue side, considering their coach is Dylan Falco. I worked with this guy for 2 years, and I remember him clearly stating that anyone who picked the red side was trolling, because no matter the patch, no matter the year, blue side, it's just so dominant. And he's committing to that here. He's saying, I don't care what happened in draft, I don't care what went wrong. It is all in-game decisions. It's, our macro, our decision-making. And as long as we come in, sticking to our plan, sticking to our preparation, we're going to be able to find solutions. And in this particular case, I think the only thing they really need to do is take away the Jayce. Then you're going to be fine.
Yeah, but for me, OP picks aside, I refuse to believe that G2 coming into their first playoff series are not going to come without more tricks up their sleeves. And here, I want to ask you guys, do you think there could be some champions that we haven't seen so far that could catch Excel off guard today?
I mean, absolutely. But do I know which champions that are?
Yeah, that's
no,
the thing.
not at all
What a big
whatsoever.
include.
I would be very surprised if we're not seeing something new. But I also wouldn't be too surprised if maybe Excel is also coming in with different adaptations. I've been very impressed with their coaching staff. And even though they tried the Kai'Sa that did not work in the first game, it kind of speaks to the fact that they've been experimenting. And the fact that they're willing to do that and try new things is also a different side of Excel. Because regular season, they found their success because they just went very standard. Azir, Nautilus, tank top, let's play a standard game of League of Legends. This wasn't necessarily it. And that speaks to the fact that Excel is a team that keeps evolving.
Yeah.
And that's great to see from them.
And that's giving them us a series so far. And they end G2's 12-game win streak here. We'll see if they can get the ball rolling or who will get the advantage and lead us to match point in this first best-of-5 series right after the break.
So Abbedagge, Caps, is he gonna?
It just walked past him and just
Caps?
G2, what are you doing? Has to crash away the exhaust. So taking twisted advance all the way into the back line, but Limit delivered the knock-up. And Excel find 2 again.
Excel really fighting back.
Oh!
They're coming first, guys.
Okay.
He's dead. I'm looking. Attack. 1.5. I'm moving. No flash Kog'Maw. They have Kog'Maw. They kill.
Okay. I can take.
Kog'Maw is coming as well.
I have Q soon. Okay. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tanking. I'm not okay. Careful, you'll die.
Nice. Go take.